Hello, hello everyone. Thanks for joining. Uh, First of all, very good evening to everyone who is joining this call, or or the person who may be listening later on. So this call is regarding MozFest proposal, like how to apply for MozFest, and like what all things to be needed, what all things to be included, what not to be included, and like how to write a great successful CFP, like call for paper for MozFest, and how MozFest is different from other conferences happening around the world. So uh, without any delay, let's start. Like I'll be starting the presentation. Okay, so this is how the MozFest website looks like. Uh, yes, where we say like where web meets. It is going to happen from October 26 to 28 in London, and the website for this is mozillafestival.org. Is the website where you need to go to apply for MozFest. So, so the speakers I was waiting for was Vishal, Anubha, Santosh, including me. So I guess they'll be joining. So I'll just go through the details, like what all things to be, what I want to tell you, and later once they join the call, they'll share their experience. If not, they'll comment later on. So, so first of all, about MozFest, you need to understand that there are spaces and session categories. So, what is this space and what is session category? Because it's not like traditional conference where you just have certain topic like IoT, web development, security, Android, these kind of topics. Here it has some broader space, so that's why it's got space. So there are 6 spaces for MozFest. One is decentralization, digital inclusion, openness, privacy and security, web literacy, youth zone. I'll be covering all these like what in detail later in this slide, like what this is, what everything is. And once when you apply for your proposal, you need to select from this space where you want to apply. Like let's say if your talk is about let's say privacy, you need to select this space, privacy and security. And the thing is you have to select second option as well, like what's your first choice, first preference. So if I am going to talk about privacy, like securing, let's say, APIs of the modern web browsers. So how to secure an API? Let's say my talk is about securing an API. So it comes under the topic, let's say, privacy and security, because we are talking about securing the API. So this will be my first preference. So the next, second preference would be, say, if I talk about web APIs, so it can fall under web literacy. If we promote a open source platform for providing the APIs, then also then we can go for the openness section, openness space. So this is you can find about these spaces in this on their website at mozillafestival.org/spaces. So to keep in mind that whenever you apply, there is a session category. One is the learning forum, second is the gallery, and one is shared. So I'll cover this like after the all the important aspect. I'll cover all these thing in my later slides. So let's get started with what's important. So I'll try my level best to answer these questions, And these three question is very important. Like, what makes a great MOSFET session? So let's say you have an idea, but you are unable to express that idea in words, because you are not interviewed for this session. You have to write it down. So you have to go through the CFP process, like applying for proposal, like preparing the proposal. So what makes a great proposal, and which spaces to choose from, as I was discussing earlier, and what to include and what not to include when you are writing your CFP, like for proposal. I'll say, as I'm keep on saying CFP, because every conference has call for paper, and here we say in MozFest proposals. So let's answer first question: what makes a great MozFest session? So first of all, get to know about MozFest. Like, what is MozFest? Because it is different from other conference. So there's a great blog on this on Medium. If you want, I'll share later on with this slide link as well. I'll share the Medium post, like to how you should know about how you can know about MozFest. So first, understand it. It's not like your traditional conferences. It's different. It promotes PIP, participatory, inclusive, and productive. So whenever you write your proposal, make sure these three things is included. Like, it has to be participatory. It's not like people are listening your talk and nobody is participating in your talk. So write your CFP in such a way that it says like people will be involving. It should be inclusive. Everyone should be included. Like, what is how it is easy, and it should be productive. Keep in mind, you can read the detail of all this aspect in the blog I'll share later on. So it has to keep in mind about PIP. Then understand the session category, because when you select or when you prepare, you have a great let's say proposal, and you have selected it for gallery, but it was a learning forum. So there is a chance of getting rejected or not getting selected because you have selected a different category. So understand it, like which category your proposal is falling under. What is learning forum, what is gallery, and what is shed. So I'll explain this later on. For this, like, this is very important, because brainstorm a list of 4 to 6 great verbs to use in your proposal. Because again, nobody wants to listen a talk. This is not a traditional one. So everything is to be inclusive, participatory. So select few verbs which will help you managing a session. So, and fifth one is set a goal for your session. What is your goal? Like, your goal shouldn't be just the MozFest like session. Like, you go there and just talk about a particular thing. So your goal should be like something which helps the community later on. So yes, when I say about the community, it comes about think beyond MozFest. It is not like a traditional conference where everyone go and talk. Let's say if I say about Linux Con, people go there and talk about what is happening in Linux, and they share their stories. So it's not a traditional conference. So keep in mind, think beyond MozFest, and think flexibly. Like let's say your session or your proposal is for 50 students. So keep in mind, what if the participant size decreases? Like for your session, only 5 people arrives. So what will you do? Because you have prepared for 50 students. So and only five attendees came. Reverse, if you can say you prepared for 50, but let's say 500 came. So what will you do and how you handle those situations, what all materials you will be using, which again comes to inclusive and participatory, and make sure it is a productive session. And which spaces to choose from, uh, because let's say there are six, as I said earlier, decentralization, these things. So which things to choose from? Identify through your proposal what you are planning to do. If you have any idea, later on after this video, I'll connect with whosoever is interested. Connect with you on a hangout call, and I'll make sure you write a good proposal. So this is the second thing, which space to choose from. It's very important. uh, Understand the spaces and go through those spaces, like what that space demands. So, and then it's the what to include and what not to include. Like this is the important thing. Always follow outlined call for speakers rule. Like it's not only for MozFest, it's for everything, every conference you apply for. So there is a particular guideline for how to apply and what things not to be included and what not to be. So strictly follow the outline call for speakers rule. So second is take time to spell check the abstract, because once you, let's say if you write an abstract, or abstract is the smaller form of writing a complete proposal. So let's say if you're writing an abstract and it is grammatically wrong, or it's a, if there is a spelling mistake, so there's a high chance that you won't be selected, because it will be rejected, like that the speaker is not much mature enough to write a good abstract. So do let's say if you are not good in English, there are things there are add-ons such as Grammarly, which can help you write a complete good sentences without any spelling mistakes, without any grammar mistakes. So you can use those add-ons. If not, whatever you write, ask friends to proofread it. Like if you see people like who is good in English, you can ask them. You can share with the community people, like not to everyone, but like say one or two people, like this I wrote, how it sounds to you, and is there any grammar errors, or all those questions you can ask with that friend or people whoever you want to concern with. A good rule of thumb is 2 to 3 paragraphs clearly expressing your idea. Do not write the complete story. Do not unveil the story in front. So abstract is about writing a few paragraphs about your session, but it has to be something like appealing. Like every people want to know more about this after learning, reading through your abstract. So it's like 2 or 3 paragraph is enough. And use inclusive language and avoid shamming. Use an inclusive language. Don't go for your those dictionaries words, hard English words. Use a simple English word, and do not use those things like let's say if I'm saying about an explorer, like a browser, do not say like some X browser sucks and somebody is like that. Do not call anybody like do not start a blame game. It's like avoid shamming and use an inclusive language. Stay away from product pitches. Let's say if I am representing a company, I work for a company and they develop a product which talks about security. So do not, yeah, go for that product, write about in your proposal that you will be using that product, but do not give more emphasis on that product. Give emphasis on the project, what you are going to say on that proposal, on that topic you want to represent. Using that technology you can do that, but do not start a product pitches. So stay away from product pitches, and then show, don't tell. Is like you show your performance. Don't just tell ki this is not this is bad. Let's say Do not just state a thing. Like, let's say, if I say React is the best JS framework, I would say. So do not state, show that thing, like why this is uh, best. Let's say if I say for virtual reality, A-frame is best. Do not just state it. Show why it is best. So, and use your creativity and be original. Do not or proposal, and do not copy from this year's proposal. There's a high chance that it will be filtered as let's say, I would say, both same or all those kind of filters. Do not copy. Come up with your own idea. If you have something, interact with people who can help you shape a good proposal. Try to be creative while writing your proposal, and this of proposal and think like this was the best proposal, and I'm sure that this will be selected, right? If you have an idea, propose one session. If you do not, then I would say propose multiple session. There's a high chance, because let's say if you're going from India and if you have two session, it can be scheduled in 2 different days, and they will expect people who have two sessions. Like, say if I have one session, they'll expect I have a one session on security, and the other person talks about the same security aspect, but he also talks about openness in his second proposal. So there's a high chance of getting selected for the person who write more than one proposal. So this was a brief summary of what to include and what not to include. So, and yes, I was talking about this MozFest experience. I'm not sure if I play this video, it will play for everyone, but let's try this. Or I guess internet issue. If not, I'll share this promo video link. You will have the experience what I was talking about. What is MozFest? You will get to know about from this what is MozFest from this video. I'll share later on with my slide link, as well as this link, as well as any link whatever which you need to know about. So go through this MozFest experience, because this will help you understand what is MozFest and how it is different from other conferences. Okay, so as I was talking earlier, so there are 6 spaces. So from that 6 space, one is decentralization. So go through this thing and try to come up your shape your proposal in this direction. Like, say if you let's say I would say conscious society is fulfilled by data. If you're talking about if your proposal is something related to data collection, but data is not just a resource, go through this and you'll get to know what this space demands. And if you have something different, let's say if you have a complete different scenario from this, you can still propose, like, let's say the anti-decentralization or this kind of thing. Let's say can the world be decentralized? You can propose the world cannot be decentralized. It's your proposal, and prove it. Just do not say it. As I said, you just do not go and write the world cannot be decentralized, right? You need to show how it cannot be decentralized. Then people might be interested to know in detail, like why you have your stay or your point. What is your point? And they'll listen. So can the world be decentralized? This is a question which decentralization space is asking. So if your proposal is solving this, if your proposal or if your idea is solving this question, you can select decentralization. If let's say the second space was digital inclusion. For some of us, the web is space for collective creativity, invention, and expression. We used to study, conduct science, find jobs. Go through this, study from thoroughly study these spaces, and you will get to know, is my top, or let's say if you do not have any idea right now, go through all these spaces. I'm pretty sure you will come up with an idea. Let's say if you do not know how to frame that, you can from for now you can ask me, or I can give links to those people who can help you writing a good MozFest proposal. So the second is digital inclusion. Uh, Third is openness. Study openness on the web extend to many principles, from softwares and hardwares to education. So working open allow us to share, collaborate on, promote, revise, and refine our work. So what this openness space demands is whatever you are developing, whatever your proposed, let's say whatever your project is, make sure it is open. It is easily available for people to collaborate on. People can promote your, refine your work, promote, revise, all these things. If that your project is supporting openness, it will help. Uh, it will help. There's a high chance of getting selected in openness space. So select openness when your product or your project is open source. Let's say you are you are using, making your project open source, then select openness space. Fourth one is privacy and security. Do you want to feel more safe online? It's a question what this space is going to solve or trying to solve. So if your question is no, I'm not safe, so just do not say it. Just do not state it, prove it, show it to them why it's not safe and why you think it's not safe, and if it is safe, how you think it is safe. So you are getting my like thing, like how to write proposal with respect to spaces. The fourth one is web literacy. Let's say if your proposal is stating or supporting uh, people who want to learn web, then here comes the question, which space to select from. So let's say if you are selecting web literacy, your proposal is about teaching students or participants about something which is very new, what you think nobody knows, or what you think everybody has lost the concept of something. You can propose for web literacy. Then it comes for select accordingly which session or which uh, category type, which thing, which under which it falls, right? So this is youth zone. The future of the internet is in our hands. So this is the statement. Do you agree with it, or do you disagree with it? Go through this. Everything is on the Mozilla Festival website, mozillafestival.org. Everything is there. So you study. If you have any doubt, you can ask us. If you have any doubt, you can ask many people. There are people who are helping to write a good, write everyone to write a good proposal. And this was the session types, which was learning forum, gallery, and shared. Session under learning form is a format where we develop and implement ideas for improvement, exchange, or review. An example session that could live in the learning forum is a session that works with participants to prototype a game to help user protect their privacy. Let's say it's a learning forum. Everyone has to do a prototype. You start with a prototype, prototyping a game. Let's say you can use the building blocks to configure a game. You can here comes that section, PIP, participatory, inclusive, and productivity. So it has to be participatory and inclusive under learning forum. So understand what is learning forum, what is gallery. This format post interactive exhibits, installations, game, stand for one-to-one self-driven experience or small group activities is a gallery. Like say, if there are only 10 people and they want to interact, often these experience or activities are not scheduled time blocks, but take place over the day or weekend allows access and interactions at any time. An example session that could live here is a selfie installation that shows the distortion of selfies over the year. So let's say if you have a project which is, I guess, completely built, this comes under gallery session. You can showcase your product there with the people who are coming. It is one to one, kind of, it's a kind of booth kind of thing. Gallery. Shed a session under this format requires hands-on making, hacking, and prototyping, right? So the example session that could live here is one that participants to build robot through circuits, right? So there are different thing, sounds and action, like there are building blocks. Again, people will involve. So under this category, if your talk or if your proposal is about asking everyone to uh, build a IoT prototype model, so this comes under shed. So there is a huge range, like it's a great range, big range to follow what comes under this session type. So understand it, what it is. And since today is 28, and the deadline for submission is August 1st, 28, we have 3 days, roughly 3 days with us, 2 to 3 days. If you have any proposal right now, if you have any idea right now, and you want to make it a good proposal, contact with me or people I'll share the link with, and make sure you write it soon. And thank you for listening. Um, and if you have any question, you can ask right now. Sure, I'll share. Don't worry, I'll share the presentation in the YouTube description section, because it will be staying there, because it will be recorded. It has recorded. Talk about AI, which space is best fit for my. Actually, you want to talk about AI, which space is best fit for my talk? Okay, so somebody asked, like, I want to apply for. I want to talk about AI, which space is best fit. So, as I said, you understand what you want to talk about AI. Let's say if you're talking about data, your main goal is about data, something data centric. Look through each sessions, like, is your proposal is falling under this? And okay, how long can a session be? It can. Yeah, a standard way of a normal session is goes from half an hour to 45 minutes. Let's say, again, it comes it depends which type of learning activity, under which session category it falls. If it falls under learning forum, you need to check, like, I'll share this later on. For each session, how much time you need. Let's say if you are in a gallery, there is a one-to-one interaction. So it will be, you will be showcasing your project. You may be showcasing your product. For that, it will, like, everyone, it will be a day long session. For gallery, if you are saying shed, maybe your idea is to for a group of people to start building an IoT prototype, or connecting mobile phone like laptop through a module. It depends how much time they need to configure all those uh, small bits to make that product happen. So it depends. Maybe a shed can vary from, it's kind of workshop. Shed is a workshop environment where you have 3 to 4 hours. Learning forum is a normal standard where you will be sharing your experience or your talk with the larger crowd. And it varies from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but make sure you have enough content. So because you're going there, and if you're going there for your session, and you have been allocated 30 minutes to talk about your product, or your idea, and you skim it and reduce it to 10 minutes, that 20 minutes is a waste for both the both the management and for you as well, because it won't give a positive response of your, like, because it comes under lightning talk, and nobody, if it is a if you're getting selected for a through a proposal, so try to make it till at least 25 minutes, and leave that 5 minutes for asking question. Like if for example, if there is a talk plus hands-on activities, as I said, if your proposal is if your proposal is about is that you are talking, let's say if I say about A-frame, everyone can relate to it. If I say about A-frame, I can talk about A-frame for 25 minutes. If there is a workshop or a demo or a hands-on activity, I can reduce that talk to 5 or 10 minutes, and later on uh, I'll do the hands-on. But make sure if your session format is like this, do mention in your do mention this while proposing, because people who may be attending your learning or your session, they may not be carrying a laptop. So if they know what is the requirement for everyone to attend your talk, it helps, and it helps the management as well to decide if it falls under a certain session category. So anything more, any more questions? So don't, I would say, don't waste time from now on. If you have an idea, like prototype it, uh, uh, go through all this thing. I'll share the slide, uh, and you can see this MozFest experience. I'll share every link in my description section. So that's it from my side. I don't think anybody has joined as a speaker right now. Somebody asked, can you please explain in brief on each topic which are there on the proposal form? Hi, Bhuvna. It's a nice question. Again, I would say go understand it. If you have still you have a doubt, connect with me with one-on-one session. I'm live. I'll be available till midnight today, and if not, you can contact me later on as well. I'll if anybody, if more of the people is interested to know about youth zone, or let's say about all any of the zone or any of the spaces, you can join after this video in my hangout call, where I can see each one asking question, and I'll be it would be good to know each one of you. So if you want to join that call, stay with me and just comment in the section like you want to join, and I'll connect. I'll share. I'll give that link to you, hangout link to you. Okay, that's it from my side. I don't think anything I have missed. So if you have any idea or want to know more about the session thing, what parallel spaces or which spaces to write, do join me after this video. And thank you for listening. And right now nobody has joined. This call was to ask everyone to come and join this session who was last year's selected candidates, so they would have shared their experience. But don't worry, I'll ask them to post a video sharing your experience, sharing their experience, and I'll post it here. You can go through that as well. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and that's it. And thank you.